What if I told you there was a way you could trade somebody for a very expensive item, like a white hat or alpha boost or something to that extent, and pretend to make it look like your credits are in the trade window, and then you get the item, but you don't lose any credits? That was an exploit and a hack that was going down, and luckily it's been fixed, but for those that are unaware, it's actually pretty scary. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what it was, what happened, and the fact that it actually got fixed pretty quickly. What is up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. A little bit different on this one, actually. This one was brought to my attention by a couple of my mods in the Discord. I'm not a big trader. I don't really trade or try to find new items or trade items or anything like that. But this one's actually a pretty big deal. The fact that people have found an exploit and a way to hack the trade system. It's actually a really big deal, and a lot of people are getting scammed. So we're going to talk about what happened, how it happened, give you an example of it happening, and then talk about the fix. So with that said, let's get straight into it. A couple days ago, I think like 3-4 days ago, there was a post on the Rocket League subreddit, not Rocket League Esports, but just plain old Rocket League, saying that there is an exploit going around on PC when trading credits. It may be best to avoid trading credits until further notice. And it didn't really give you a full idea of what it was. There was no real way of showing what it was or how it worked until a lot of people actually took it into their own hands. The cool thing is, if you guys do a lot of trading, you probably know who rocket-league.com is, or Rocket League Garage. It's a pretty big website that a lot of people have used for a really long time to look up item prices and everything else. And on the top of their website, it actually detailed the fact that this was an exploit that was happening. You should probably avoid trading for the time being, and a bunch of things about it. And the difficulty is, this is something that Psyonix just did not talk about. I couldn't find any posts about it. I couldn't find any statuses on Twitter. There was nothing on the internet that I was able to find about Psyonix making this public. And I still don't know if they've done it to this day, which is unfortunate because this is a really big deal. There was people that were like trading, 10, 20,000 credits. And it's like they want titanium 1 octane. And all of a sudden their item is gone and the person still has their credits. They haven't received anything and they just got completely scammed, and there was nothing they could do about it other than put in a support ticket and hope things get fixed, which you just never know nowadays. Well, looking at the website and up to date now, it does state that the exploit has been fixed. They did find a way to recreate it. They have sent that information to Psyonix and they have fixed it. And they're happy that it was patched very quickly. Again, this only happened over the course of like 2-3 days. So nobody really knows about it unless you were affected or kind of did some scouring of your own. But I can honestly say I never would have known about this either, which I think is the core problem. When your trade system is having an issue and you don't disable it immediately, or the fact that you don't tell the general public like this is a thing, I think that's a pretty big problem. I think something like that should be stated immediately so the scamming stops happening to other people. In my perspective, if a trade issue is happening, you either disable the system altogether, don't know how easy that is, or you put out social media postings or anything, or just something in game saying like, hey, here's a notice, there's a trade issue happening, please don't trade, we're working on it, because that stuff is super important. And please correct me if I'm wrong. If that stuff, if there was posts, if there was any social stuff, drop those down below in the comments, because I personally didn't see anything from when I looked. There was a couple posts on Reddit that didn't really give you the exact details on how to recreate this and how to do it, but one of the Redditors commented, Sleazy Sid's RL shop, did say, I will not repeat it, but it's on Reddit, so it's not that big of a secret. The exact instructions you need are not there, which is a good thing, obviously, but explains the flaw of being exploited, and boy, it makes the developers look unprofessional. This could have been avoided. All of your inventory is held on servers, which is true. Everything is done server side. It's all on their system. It's nothing that we have that is physically like in our game clients. Like if you go into your settings under your game where like your game save is, that's not where your items are stored. They're stored on a server, which is good for Psyonix because then they can change, manipulate, do what they need to do. He says, without getting technical, if they had coded it correctly so that no matter what the trade players agree to is applied to both accounts or fails and no changes happen to either account, this problem would not be able to occur. Instead, scammers are able to mess with their PCs in a manner that I will not explain, and the net effect is the victim doesn't see the credits being taken out when they hit the confirm trade button. So it does seem like a lack of coding area where when a trade happens, you are trying to get both sides to confirm, and because it's not coded correctly, one side can manipulate that so the transaction still goes through for the push, but they don't push their own transaction. I'm trying to explain that in layman's terms without getting into anything technical, but I can understand how it's manipulated. A simple fix would be for each player's game client to send the trade details back to the servers when they confirm the trade rather than through local or otherwise, or send a number of timestamps that change every time either player changes their offer. But if the server sees a conflict, e.g. player A agrees to take Octane for free and player B agrees to sell the Octane for some credits, the trade fails and players can try again. So further explanation makes me believe trade gets accepted by one person where it shows I'm trading titanium white octane for X amount of credits, while other person finds a way to manipulate that trade window with lag or whatever it may be because it's on server side. So they take out their credits and then accept. So the trade still goes through, but they trade nothing and they trade for the octane and then they reprofit, which is pretty scummy. If you're a scammer, shame on you. You are not a good person. There's also a video that should be showing right now that is showcasing what is actually happening and how it kind of applies. And it shows that the offerings and the other person's offerings are there. And then there's a little bit of a delay in the trade process. It cancels the trade on one side, showing that, hey, you don't have anything, but the other person has now gotten your item and you don't get any credits, because after a trade completes, it should pop up showcasing like, yo, this is what you've received for your trade. So this person just gets scammed out of like 10,000 plus credits, and the other person gets a titanium white octane, and it really sucks. It's not a good feeling. So after about 2-3 days, it does look like there was another post on other discords, like trading discords and stuff, that said Psyonix has deployed a fix for the current exploit, and we're excited to be able to open our trading PC again so people can trade. This was a PC only exploit from the sounds of it. It could have been a lag switch or something. I honestly don't know. Thanks for all your understanding and patience through this. Also, if you or someone know has been scammed using this exploit, it's recommended that you send a support ticket, which again can be hit and miss depending on the response. Hopefully you have enough evidence to prove it, and hopefully they can look, because things are on server side, a way to get back your items. So I will tell you that I have been hacked and stuff in the past, and when they do give you back your items because they don't want to ruin the economy and stuff, even though they can see exactly where it goes to on every trade, why don't you just get rid of that item on that person and then give me back my original one? That isn't trade locked, because that's probably what they're going to do. If they give you back your item, it will be trade locked. It basically kills the value altogether. But the benefit is you do get your item back. So that is something that I can tell you preemptively will probably happen, just as a heads up. But good news is that it is no longer an issue, and happy trading. I'm actually curious if you guys knew about this, because I had no idea. But I figured I should make a video on it just in case there is people out there that have had this happen to them and they don't know what to do. Links to everything in the description down below with all the information that I'm talking about. But the support.rocketleague.com is the place where you submit those tickets, and then you can go and try to go through the process to get your stuff back if it did happen to you. So with that said, that is going to wrap it up for your Rocket League news today. If you do have any additional questions, comments, concerns, drop those down below. And while you're down there, as always, if you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.